Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here with my comic reviews for the week. This week's comics came out March 27th, 2013. Okay, starting it off with one comic from Dynamite, The Green Hornet, #1. This is a new, well, technically it's not new. There have been Green Hornet comics published by Dynamite for a while now, but this is a new series written by Mark Waid, who's been doing an amazing job on Daredevil. So, you know, Green Hornet was a character that caught my eye right during the time when Seth Rogen did that movie about him. I liked the movie, so I have been meaning to try to read Green Hornet comics from time to time now, but I've never gotten the chance to. So, you know, I heard about this series, so I found out like a couple days before it came out that Mark Waid was going to write a Green Hornet series, and I thought, okay, I love this guy on Daredevil, I'm going to give this a shot. So, and I'm glad I did, because this is an amazing first issue. First off, let me say that this does take place, I'd say, in the distant past, because it starts off with Britt Reed. For a first issue, it does an amazing job. It's Britt Reed. He explains what he pretty much for like the first half of it. He mostly explains like what he does, how he operates. He uses the Green Hornet identity to masquerade as a super criminal, while he gathers intel and information about, you know, all the mob and criminal rackets in the city, and can figure out who's behind it, and also gather evidence and expose any corrupt politicians or businessmen who are involved with it. And he can use this information as Britt Reed, who publishes the Sentinel newspaper. So as Green Hornet, he finds all this stuff out and also scares criminals. But he also uses, but by day he prints his newspaper, and he even states in this issue that, you know, as a newspaper publisher, this can be a powerful weapon. And so the rest of the issue, though, he does. The Hornet manages to take down a gun racket going down by the port, and he also exposes the governor who's involved with it. And at first the governor is trying to shut Reed down because they figured out some sort of connection between him and some criminals, but you know, fortunately Brick was able to stop them and you know, shut him down. But also the issue, but this is the good part about this issue, is that it leaves you with the cliffhanger that lets you want more, because at the end we see Britt Reed's friend, Malcolm White, meeting with the bomb maker, saying that, you know, now that thanks to Britt Reed and the Sentinel, the port is free terror is in shambles, so we can strike now. And so that's where the issue ends. I really love this first issue. It really captured my attention. I like how it explained everything. How, you know, there's a nice recap for Britt Reed about what he does and how he does it. So, you know, if you're a new Green Hornet fan, like you've heard the character before, but you haven't really, you know, gotten to know who he is, well, this is a great first issue for new readers too. Also, if you're like me and you only saw the movie and you have been meaning to get into this character for a while now, well, I would say you should definitely pick up this issue. It's well worth it. I am definitely looking forward to next month's Green Hornet. Alright, next up from DC Comics, Superman #18. Superman is dealing with the U.S. government, who, thanks to the Hell on Earth event with Hell, they now know about the Fortress of Solitude, and now the government's pretty much trying to get inside. They pretty much want to inspect it, make sure there's not anything, you know, that's a threat to anyone around them. But Superman says, no, you're not getting in. This is my home. It's where I go to relax. And Superman also does say that there are some things that are dangerous, but he keeps an eye on them to make sure that no one gets hurt. Of course, that doesn't sit well with them. Also, Lois Lane is who, since the start of the Superman series in New 52, was a television producer. Now apparently she's back working as a beat reporter. I don't know how that happened. And meanwhile, while all this stuff is going on with Superman, Orion, Highfather, and Warren delivers a message to Orion that there's a prophecy that's going to cause a big cosmic disturbance, and Superman will be the cause of it. and that's where the issue ends. Okay, well, we're kind of getting into a new story arc, especially after Hell on Earth, involving I guess, Orion and possibly some of the new gods. I'm kind of interested in that. You know, I mean, the involvement, the way this issue kind of worked was Superman and Orion. It kind of reminded me of that two-parter in the Superman animated series with where Orion first appeared and warned Superman about Darkseid. That's what this kind of reminded me of. And I kind of got the same feeling for it, but you know, I kind of want to stick around with this issue after this issue just to see where the story arc goes with Orion and everything. But you know, I think Superman is in a lot of trouble right now, with the government wanting to break into his house. So, and I also think, personally, I think Superman is right with what he was doing in the standing up to the government about, you know, talking about the fortress, because, well, you know, he needs a place to. I think they should respect his privacy, okay? Because I mean, he has saved their asses. Sorry, kids, pardon my language. He saved their lives a ton of times. I think he deserves a place where he should just, you know, be himself. And he even states that it is fortified so no one can get in. Granted, I think all the incidents with Hell kind of weakened that excuse, but nevertheless, I really think Superman was right in telling them, no, you can't come into my house. So you know, they should respect that, especially since this guy's pretty much one of their most powerful allies. Okay, next up, Flash number 18. Pretty much the Trickster is arrested for murder. The Flash thinks he's innocent, mainly because Trickster used to be one of the Rogues, and the Rogues are pretty much blue-collar villains. I mean, they only go after money. They only want to get rich. They never kill anyone. So Flash thinks this is suspicious, and he starts looking for evidence to prove Trickster is innocent. And during this event, Flash discovers that two of the victims that he rescued from the Speed Force during the whole guerrilla warfare story arc apparently now gain superpowers from being in the Speed Force. They're the only two people that we know of. Also, in case you jumped to any conclusions, let me tell you right now, Iris West does not have any powers. Well, that we know of for now. Anyways, pretty much all that happens then is after Trickster gets arrested, Barry talks to the two of them, tells them not to be superheroes from now because they're too inexperienced, and you know, maybe one day he'll help them and stuff like that. But for the rest of the issue, Flash mainly tries to concentrate on proving Trickster's innocence, and while he's trying to free Trickster through the system, Trickster has some allies from this gang of anarchists known as the Outlanders, and they've started to make threats to Central City, saying that, you know, if you don't release Trickster from Iron Heights prison, we are going to go in there and break him out. And of course, right when Barry's looking at some of Trickster's old bombs, they get to the prison, they're about to attack it and break in, and Flash is getting ready to stop them, but once he starts running, suddenly he loses all his powers. And apparently this is going to tie into next month's Dial H issue. I have to admit, I'm not really interested in what's going to happen in Dial H. I'm really not. I think this is just filler. Right now, I think this story is just filler between guerrilla warfare and what we're going to get in Flash number 19, which is the Reverse Flash. So I really think if you want to save yourself some money this week and you were thinking about getting Flash, just don't. Unless you want to get Dial H next month. If you don't, then I say skip this issue. I really do. Alright, next up, Aquaman, number 18. Aquaman's still leading the Atlantean army to find all the scavenged weapons from the War of Atlantis, and he's pretty much leading them to find all the scavenged weapons and destroy them, and he's still trying to figure out who's doing all this. Sorry, I had to reach for a tissue. Again, sorry, I'm having trouble with my allergies, but I'm still going to get through this review. Okay, after Aquaman, Aquaman tries to stop all the weapons. He speaks to Orm's sister, Tula. Yeah, that's right. Apparently in the New 52, Tula is Orm's sister, and I'm not sure, but she might be Arthur's as well. It's not explicitly stated how she and Orm are related, so it is possible she might be Aquaman's sister too. And Tula tells Aquaman that even though Vulcan was a traitor, he does have a lot of information, and he should try talking to him. So Arthur goes to see Vulco, and Vulco tells him that the guy who's selling the weapons is Peter Mortimer, aka the Scavenger. So Aquaman makes his way to go find the Scavenger. And while this is going on, the first king apparently has broken out of his Arctic prison, and somehow he's made it all the way to where Arthur and Mera lived, and he finds Mera and demands that she takes him to her people. Now, in the end, though, I kind of think that when he said her people, he meant Mera's people, not the Atlanteans. Because if you recall, Mera is not an Atlantean. She's part of some race of waterbenders, I think. Anyways, Aquaman got an interesting opening for the Return of the King story arc. I'm kind of interested about who this first king is and what he plans on doing now, especially since and what exactly does Arthur's return to the throne mean? Like why, and also why he woke up now, right when Arthur gets back into power. That's what I'm wondering. So, I want to see how this ends up, because nevertheless, I've been enjoying Aquaman since the start of the series, and I've enjoyed Thrones of Atlantis. So, I'm curious about how the story arc works out. And I would definitely recommend Aquaman, because it's one of the best DC series they have out right now. Jeff Johns is doing an amazing job on this title, so I would definitely recommend picking it up, especially since it's only $3. And considering most comics are like $4 nowadays, that's kind of cheap. Alright, next up, time for Marvel, Age of Ultron #3. The heroes decide that they can take advantage of Ultron trying to... basically what's happening in the Age of Ultron is Ultron's taken over, and apparently he's now making deals with people where they can sell metahumans to him. So the heroes decide, let's take advantage of this by selling one of us to Ultron, so that way we can infiltrate the base. So Luke Cage brings She-Hulk to Ultron to sell her, and right when he gets into the base, he discovers that in the center of all things, we see the Vision, apparently the Vision is working with Ultron. So yeah, that was probably the only high point the only part of this issue that interested me even a little bit, was just the Vision's appearance on the last page. That's it. Now, Age of Ultron, I'm only 3 issues into this, but it's just not doing it for me, okay? I just really haven't been that connected or interested in this story arc at all. I mean, the first 2 issues, I was just kind of like, okay, how did this happen? What happened? And also, they keep making references to Hank Pym. Well, where is he? All right, where's Pym? Shouldn't he be the one who's, with the heroes trying to correct what's going on with Ultron, since he made him? So, what's the deal? I mean, yeah, and besides, these issues are $4 each, and they're coming out like and Marvel's really rushing this event, because it's only been 1 month and we've got 3 issues out already. Then the next month we're gonna have issues 4 to 6. Then the next month 7 to 8, and then 9 to 10, and then there's gonna be like a 10.1 epilogue. I really don't want to pay for any more of this event, because I'm just not that into it. Okay, that's the honest truth. I'm just not that into it. If the only reason I would recommend picking this up is if you are a fan of Ultron. Okay, if Ultron's one of your favorite Marvel villains or one of your favorite villains in general, then yeah, pick this up. You might like it, but otherwise, save your money and don't get it. Just don't. I'm done with Age of Ultron now. Okay, I am Well, I have one more comic that ties into Age of Ultron, then I'll be done with this, okay? Alright, next up, Scarlet Spider, number 15. Kane, pretty much, he's man Spider right now. And he goes pretty much like Savage Spider on like the werewolf assassins that are trying to kill Arklay. He almost kills one of them, but fortunately, the other wolf woman is able to get her brother and escape. But Kane's still like in his man Spider form. But fortunately, Arklay is able to calm him down, and he, turns back into Kane. And and it's the same thing that happened to Peter Parker once he went through the whole other thing. When he came back, he had like no scars, his body was completely renewed, and that's the same thing that happened to Kane. Except Kane came back, and when Kane came back, he had like the long hair and beard, like his original appearance. So, but afterwards, but the very next day, he got all cut off and shaved. So, And also, once Kane's done with this, he's kind of like, okay, I've always been, conflicted whether or not I am a man or a monster, but now I know for sure that I'm a monster. And also on the last page, it shows that we are also more about Arklay is revealed in this issue, so that's kind of a positive. We see that some guy hired her and kidnapped. We see that the guy who originally kidnapped her is now assembling some sort of strike force or supervillain team to kill Arklay, and also take care of Kane as well, because he needs Arklay Den for this event that he refers to as the sixth transformation. So that's a little interesting. I gotta say though, this series right now, this issue, the whole introduction to the other, it seemed like a shorter, less than exciting version of the original other story arc. That's really how I can describe it. And also, if you are curious about Arklay, well, there's a little bit more revealed about her in this issue, so that's kind of a positive if you've been reading this since the very beginning. But other than that, this story arc felt pretty weak, and just like not even like a good story arc. It was basically just a rip-off of the other. That's what it felt like. So if you didn't read this, I would, and if you haven't read Scarlet Spider yet, I'd say wait till next issue. That's going to be a better jump-on point for this. If you didn't get this last story arc, though, don't bother getting it, because it's really not that interesting, other than what I just said about Arklay. But you can just probably find that out online in a few days. From now. Okay, and back to Age of Ultron. When I said I'm done with Age of Ultron, well, technically this is going to be the last Age of Ultron comic I get. Superior Spider-Man, number 6 AU. All the Age of Ultron tie-ins that are involved with the Marvel Now series, they're all going to have like AU after the issue number, so you'll know they're just Age of Ultron tie-ins and not anything related to the current ongoing series. So pretty much Spider-Man, Otto Octavius, he and Spider-Man work on a plan to take care of Ultron, where Tony says that when he was director of S.H.I.E.L.D., he developed a way to send, like, in the event of something like this, he would send, like, the base or the enemy's weapon to the negative, to create a portal to send the enemy to the negative zone. So he asks Spider-Man, since he's a scientist at Horizon, to go and finish making the master control device, because they have all the receivers that they can use to send Ultron's base to the negative zone, but they need a master control, which Spider-Man has to go build. So Quicksilver takes Spider-Man to Horizon, and when he's in there, in case you're wondering why it has to be Horizon, well, the Baxter Building's destroyed, and apparently Max Modell was working on negative zone tech. So Spider-Man goes to Horizon Labs, but Otto Octavius, being the giant egomaniacal maniac that we know, instead of building a device that could send Ultron to the negative zone, he works on his spider bots, which he believes he can use to hack into Ultron's drones and then Ultron himself and control Ultron to take over the world. yeah, needless to say, that doesn't work out for Otto. Nothing happens. Seriously, nothing. Seriously, he does not. Ultron basically kicks him out of his head, and that's the end of it. That's how. And while Ultron fights back and kicks Otto out, then of course Otto, now he's alerted to his location's pretty much been reported to every single Ultron drone. They all swarm Horizon, and right when he realizes that he should work on Stark's plan, the device is destroyed immediately. So he then calls Quicksilver, and Quicksilver gets him out of there and back to the helicarrier. And when he talks to Tony about it, Tony says, like, let me guess, you built the device, but Ultron immediately caught on and it was destroyed. And Spider-Man's just like, yeah, that's what happened. Doesn't even mention that he tried to take control. And Tony's like, hey, don't beat yourself up, man. Okay, we gotta keep. We may have been knocked down, but we gotta pick ourselves up and keep going. And that's when Otto kind of has this realization that over the years, whatever allies he's had, he's treated them more like lackeys. But this time, he needs to start working with people because he's kind of starting to see how valuable teamwork is. So that's the lesson in today's Superior Spider-Man issue. Teamwork is always important. Yeah, if you're getting Age of Ultron, then... Oh, by the way, this issue of Superior Spider-Man isn't written by Dan Slott. It's written by Christos Gage. The guy's not bad. He wrote Avengers Academy, so I know he's a good writer. But I do not... But really, other than Age of Ultron is the only reason you should pick this book up. Okay, unless you want to see Otto's ego take over and make him look like an idiot, then yeah, pick it up. But other than the Age of Ultron tag, you can just skip this issue. Okay, you don't need it for Superior Spider-Man, you just need it for Age of Ultron. So if you're not getting Age of Ultron, you can pretty much pass on this. Alright, now, Young Avengers, number 3. Alright, Miss America arrives to Asgard, and she helps Billy, Hulkling, and Loki fight Laufey. But, suddenly, while they're fighting Laufey, suddenly Miss America's moms appear. And they start telling, and of course they kind of like, start talking down to her, like what happened with Teddy's mom and Billy's parents. So then Loki teleports them out of there and back into a nightclub in New York, specifically Mary Jane Watson's nightclub. And while they're there, Loki explains to the others that he interfered with Billy's spell because he was trying to make sure Billy wouldn't summon that interdimensional parasite that looks like Teddy's mom at all. However, because of his interference, he actually tied it to everyone. So that's the reason why the parasite's starting to affect Billy's parents and Miss America's parents, and the reason Laufey's there. And Loki says that he can't teach Billy to reverse the spell. However, it would take too long. So instead, he recommends that Billy loans him some of his power for just 10 minutes. Billy, being smart, says no. And of course, right after they have this little discussion, all their parents minus Laufey appear, and of course, as you can imagine, fight breaks out. Our young heroes lose. Well, when I say lose, they just get incapacitated. That's it. Okay, Young Avengers number 3. I don't know what it is, but this book is definitely lacking I'd say it's lacking the chemistry or the heart that the original Young Avengers series had. Because I loved the original Young Avengers, and I was sad to see Cassie die and Patriot quitting. But I think the reason that book worked was because the team was together. All the members of the team got together like really fast. And now we're kind of on like this steady. We're still waiting for other people to appear. Right now Miss America has kind of joined the team, but now we just need to wait on Marvel Boy and Hawkeye to show up, and Hawkeye, I mean Kate Bishop. So I think that might happen next issue, because again, we're still getting, the idea about Marvel Boy and Hawkeye's being teased with Billy still saying like, hey, I keep getting these texts from Kate saying like Skrulls are attacking her, something. I mean, come on already. Make them appear in the book and bring them into the main plot already. I'm tired of waiting. So I'm still going to give this book the benefit of the doubt because I do like the Young Avengers. I really hope that the last two members show up soon, and I'm still going to wait till the conclusion of the first story arc until whether or not I decide to keep the book or drop it. But the way it's going right now, I might unfortunately have to drop it. I really hope that the first story arc works out and I do pick it up, start picking, and it does do good, but it's not looking that way right now. Okay, last comic, Uncanny Avengers number 5. Wonder Man, Wasp, and Sunfire join the Avengers Unity Squad. And while this is going on, the Apocalypse Twins are born. The Apocalypse Twins are apparently the apparently the twin children that were conceived by Warren, aka Archangel, when he was possessed by Apocalypse back in Uncanny X-Force. And so, right when the twins are born and they're put in their nursery, Kang the Conqueror shows up and he kidnaps the kids. And back at the main plot, Captain America introduces the Avengers Unity Squad at a press conference, and he also introduces Havoc as the leader. And Havoc gives a good speech about how he was a student of Charles Xavier, and right now he feels that the word mutant is just like putting a label on everything, and everyone should just see each other as people and stuff. It's actually a good speech, if you're planning on getting this issue. But right during the press conference, the Grim Reaper attacks, and of course, right when he attacks, he critically injures Wonder Man and Scarlet Witch, and when Wolverine tries to attack, he knocks out Wolverine. Pretty much Grim Reaper is making quick work of the Avengers, but then Rogue absorbs some of Wonder Man's powers, and right when Grim Reaper is about to kill the Scarlet Witch, Rogue fights back. She punches him with Wonder Man's strength, but unfortunately she kills him. Not knowing how strong Wonder Man is, she accidentally kills the Grim Reaper, and all the reporters get it all on tape. And that's where the issue ends. Alright, Uncanny Avengers number 5. So far, in the eyes of the public, things aren't looking so well for the Uncanny Avengers. I mean, you definitely know that when the press see a hero killing a supervillain, someone is going to have something to say, especially a mutant right now, since, again, this is Marvel, so mutants, big public relation issue. I mean, someone is going to see that footage and they're going to put a spin on it saying, like, mutants are too dangerous to be allowed onto the Avengers, blah, 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 mutants bad, blah. You know where I'm going with this. I'd say if you're a fan of both the Avengers and the X-Men, then you should pick this book up. And I'd say this issue right now is a good jumping on point for new readers, because, I mean, I really enjoyed the first... the first story arc of Uncanny Avengers was a little slow, but overall I thought it was good. And I really did like this issue, especially with Alex's speech that he gives when he's introduced as the leader of the Avengers Unity Squad. I really liked it. So if you're a fan of the X-Men and the Avengers, you should give this book a shot. See if you like it or not. Okay. Well, that's it for me. Quick little recap. Uncanny Avengers number 5. The team's officially introduced to the public. Things don't go so well. This is a good jumping on point if you want to give this series a try. Young Avengers number 3. The series is kind of lacking the heart and fire that the old series had. I'm giving it to the first story arc to decide whether or not I should keep or drop it. Superior Spider-Man number 6 AU. Only get this for Age of Ultron and nothing else. Scarlet Spider number 15, the end to the other rip-off story arc. Not the series' best work. Age of Ultron number 3. I'm not really getting into this event. I mean, most of the time this is really dull, and the only good thing about this issue, only interesting thing about this issue was seeing the Vision apparently working for Ultron. That's it. Aquaman number 18. Really like this really interesting new way to start off this new story arc. Can't wait to see what happens when Arthur has to deal with the first king. Flash number 18. Pretty much a tie-in to what's going to happen in Dial H. If you don't plan on getting Dial H, then don't bother picking this up. Superman number 18. To see Superman talk back to Congress, pick it up. And also, if you are, I guess if you're a New Gods fan and you want to see what Orion's role is going to be in this next upcoming story arc, then I'd say pick it up. And Green Hornet number 1. If you're curious about Green Hornet, if this character has interested you at all in the past and you really want to start getting into Green Hornet, then I would definitely recommend this. And also, if you're a fan of Mark Waid, you should pick this up. And that's my comic review for this week. Again, a little reminder, I'm not going to be doing a review next week. I posted a video explaining why, so if you get the chance, then you should probably check it out. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Spider-Man 1991, and see you later.